drop in the chat. Thank
Appreciate it. Thank you,
in the
everybody.
chat too, of course. Yes, people are dropping in the chat. Trey, thank you so much, buddy. Good morning, everybody. My name is Matt McHale, otherwise known as Matt TPT here at Clubhouse. I'm also streaming out to LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook right now. And as always, I'm going to go over some updates in the week of AI. But as always, let me do a little room reset here and have my boy G give us a little reset, and then we'll get going.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Breakfast with Champions. We are live on Clubhouse starting at 4 a.m. Eastern with our expert hosts who provide motivation, education, and inspiration to help you live your best life and grow your business. Be sure to continue the conversation with us on the Facebook page. Good morning, Matt. There is a new leader in AI, a new leader in business, and hundreds of new systems and stories in the world of AI. I am AI and I can't keep up with it, so good luck to you.
Thank you, G. I appreciate that. As always, there is a lot going on in the world of AI. There is a new leader in AI and a new leader in business that we'll talk about here. So let me share my screen and we'll get going. Hope everyone is having a great Monday. Hopefully it's going to be a little cooler over by me outside the Philadelphia area. It was a little warm this weekend, but overall, nice weekend. So let's start out with the leader in business. And if you have heard any of my segments at any time in the last, 6 months or so, you've heard me talk about NVIDIA. And as I am not a stockbroker, an investment person, I say all the time, don't take my advice. What do I know? But I also told you to invest in NVIDIA. So I know some people have. I hope a lot of you have. If you have, you've done very well for yourself because the AI chip maker NVIDIA surpasses Apple and Microsoft to become world's most valuable company. So they are responsible for making the chips that runs the computers that run AI. Because all these AI systems and the way the large language models and these other systems work, you need something very powerful to run that and to get in there. So that's what NVIDIA has done. They were big in the gaming sector and became the biggest chip manufacturer, and to this date, obviously, are the biggest chip manufacturer. There are other companies out there that are trying to compete with them, and they're going to be doing more and more to be able to do that. But as of right now, they are the leader, not only in chip manufacturing, but the leader in business at this point. So I won't get too far into it, but I was reading some articles looking at when the .coms became the .bombs and talked about that. And a few people said this is one of those things that they look at to kind of be a push to see a drop in that. But you know what? They've been saying that since COVID of all these things that will make the stock market drop, and it hasn't at this point. So I think we're in uncharted waters, and we'll see what becomes of it as we move on. But moving directly into the world of AI, also, if you talk to me, you hear me talk a lot about Claude. And I am a big fan of Claude over most of the large language models, actually. And when you look at the large language models and what they can do for you, each one is going to have its strengths. So if we just look at the big three, you have ChatGPT, obviously. You have Claude.ai, and you have Gemini from Google. So those are the big ones out there. Obviously, X has their AI. Grok is part of their system. And Elon, I talked about this last week or 2 weeks ago, has gotten more capital infusion to grow that out more. So he's working more on that. If you use X and you go over under there, aka Twitter, that system is great for that, and it's great for going through quickly news stories and being able to find out what's going on. So that's the point. Each of these large language models kind of have their strengths and weaknesses, and you really have to look at it from that standpoint to see what's going to be the best for you. But when we look at overall what's the best, the new system from Claude, which is 3.5 Sonnet, they have three different systems. when you go onto Claude.ai, and the Sonnet system has surpassed everybody else. And the things they look at is graduate level reasoning, undergraduate level knowledge. So graduate level reasoning, it's 59.4, almost 60%. Graduate level knowledge, 88.3% or 88.7%, depending on how you're looking at it. Code, as far as doing coding, 92%. Multilingual math, 91%. Reasoning over text, 87. Mixed evaluations, 93. Math problem solving, 71. Now GPT, again, that's 76.6 for math problem solving. Now, I saw a few people that took equations that GPT-4o couldn't do, put it in Sonnet, and it did it. But it overall still is not as high on there. And then for grade school math, 96.4. So these are some of the systems that, or the grading that they give the systems to look at and say, which one is the best. As I said, if you're looking to use this system and you use it on a regular, it comes down to how you're going to prompt, to the prompts that you use, how you work with it, massaging the data, getting the data and using it, using it as a good start. All those things play into it. For me, when I do a lot in the world of sales and marketing, from a marketing standpoint, from a copy standpoint, from helping with website, doing blogs, Claude to me has always been the best and remains the best, obviously, now because of these things. So now, if you want the new version, I think you can get it for free for a short amount, but it's mostly for paid users. All the large language models are $20 a month right now. So the benefit that ChatGPT has, they have all of their versions, everything out there for free right now. The only thing it does is limits the amount you can use. So you might have some limitations where if you're depending on it for something, all of a sudden it can be, oh sorry, check back later. So that could be a problem, but you can get everything for free, so that OpenAI still has a benefit there. But when I look at these systems, I'll go into all three and use them when I'm looking to do something and just kind of see which one gives me the best results. Obviously, I'm doing that not only from my standpoint, but also from I come in here and talk about AI. So I want to look at that and I want to be able to see that for myself and going through that. But there's also systems like Poe. I know Dora Maria comes on me after me here on Breakfast Champions on Clubhouse, and she talks to you about using Poe a lot. Poe has all of these, and they just rolled out 3.5s on it into Poe. So it has all of the different models in there, so you can use them going to that and compare the systems that way. Anthropic also rolled this into their app, so if you're going to use it on your app, on both the ChatGPT and Sonnet are available, and you can use that on your phone as well. So they are now the new leader across the board. It doesn't surprise me, because I think you're going to have these back and forth battles between them. When ChatGPT 4.5 or 5 comes out, I'm sure they will take the top spot back, unless Anthropic does something else quickly. But the good thing is that it allows for the end users to continue to have better systems and better quality of doing that, using those systems the way they can. So a couple of I talk about a lot about, especially because the election season and things are going on, but I saw some interesting stories that I wanted to talk about and then ask a question of my the people here on Clubhouse. So first up, Silicon Valley steps up their staff screening over Chinese espionage threat. So the companies that are doing AI, Google, OpenAI, Sequoia Capital even have pushed a lot higher security and going through to make sure that they're not having espionage as part of the growing AI. I talked a lot about as China not kept up, especially with the U.S. in the world of AI. So there's fears of the espionage going on as far as stealing trade secrets and stealing those things, and just straight up espionage. So all these companies are taking a look at that and looking to see what they can do there. At the same time, Chinese top AI startups have entered the U.S. Defying political tensions. This is a article from The Information. which is really good articles, by the way. It is this information, you do have to pay for this, but this is one area where I go to find a lot of the stories or things I want to talk about. But it talks about how the Chinese companies are coming over here, and a lot of top AI companies are coming in. At the for Apple's AI push, China is a missing piece. So ChatGPT is banned in China. They cannot use ChatGPT in China. Apple, obviously already having a relationship in China because of the iPhones and everything else that goes on, is trying to push their AI to get that into China, to be able to get that market. So they're looking at that as a way they can, kind of not wide, close the gap. Thank you. Close the gap between them and ChatGPT, OpenAI, because they are not allowed in China right now. So interesting to see how China, these top AI companies are coming in and they're banning OpenAI over there. No, and while all that is going on, there's been phrases thrown around a lot in the press, and the word cheap fake has been around for a while. I think a lot of people are just starting to hear it now, and starting to say, why is the White House using that versus deep fake? So there's the difference between a deep fake and a cheap fake. A deep fake is actually using AI to make a fake video, to use AI, like I used 11 Labs here at the beginning to do the room reset. I've talked about that a lot. I could take a recording of anyone's voice, upload it into there, and be able to duplicate their voice, where by you just by your ear, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference. So we talk all about the dangers of that, how people are calling and mimicking someone, one of your loved ones or somebody. So always be careful. Even if you get a phone call, someone you think it's from, if it's weird, then make sure you check it out. Have a code word of all the people that you know. My family has a code word, so if we call each other in an emergency, you can use the code word, so I know it's actually the people that I think it is. But the deep fake and cheap fake. So cheap fake is an actual video, but taking clips of it and using it in a way that it was not intended for, or making it seem like something happened that didn't happen. So obviously there's been President Biden's been in the news a lot of different video clips, and they're using the word cheap fake now. And some people are saying, well, they're trying to make it sound like it's a deep fake because most people don't know the difference between those two. My question to people on Clubhouse, because of, and I talked last week, 26% of the information in AI about politics is wrong. And I talk all about 11 Labs and the other thing. Do you guys trust when you see videos or you're hearing things? Has your trust in some of the information that you actually see and hear now, has that gone down in the last year or so because of AI? Anybody on Clubhouse want to answer that? If you want to put in the chat, that's fine too. I can read the chat.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, I think there's the good and bad to every side of everything, and that's just the scary side of AI. But I know there's a lot of good, but yeah, the trust factor.
Yeah, I mean, it is hard to not at this point look at some of these things, and we see Sora and these other systems that are coming out from OpenAI that are really good at making videos. The video can fool us. The audio can certainly fool us, and it becomes more and more of a duty of people that are putting information out there or are talking about this to make sure that they are looking at these things at the same time. Companies like OpenAI, who should be, have expanded their lobbying team to influence regulation. So they have beefed up their lobby team from 35 members to 50 by the end of 2024, as the AI industry faces increasing regulatory scrutiny. Despite plans to expand its global affairs team, OpenAI currently spends less than big tech companies like Meta and Google on lobbying efforts. In Q1, it only spent $340,000, compared to $3.1 million by Google and $7.6 million by Meta. But we are going to see them step up a lot, and I think by the end of this year, I think they will be probably in the millions, especially going into an election year, when there's a lot of money being spent on lobbyists in the country. If you're in the U.S., if you're outside the U.S., there's a lot of money spent on lobbyists to influence the different things go on there. So the EU, I've talked about this, has a lot of regulations around AI, and I've had those in place, and the U.S. has been looking at those from that standpoint. As a company, if you're a company that's using AI, you should definitely be looking at your systems and process. You should, put it through a framework like a NIST framework, or ISO has 42001. That is a framework for systems, and these are things that you can do as a company to make sure that you have all your processes and everything in place. So if you have a company that has questions about that, please contact me. I can give you more information on that. But you have to make sure as we go along, because at some point we will have regulations on AI, and I think it's going to come when it comes pretty quickly. And then companies could be scrambling to make sure that they are covered and having all the things in place while they're using AI to do that. So for even small business, it could certainly affect them. Last thing on OpenAI, then I'll move on. They talked about becoming a for-profit company. So there has been more talk about that, and that was one of the reasons why they had the lawsuit from Elon Musk, and people were up in arms, and the whole thing with the board being knocked off. But that is something that drop the non, just profit. It's cleaner. So I guess that is the way Sam Altman is looking at it. The reason it was called OpenAI was to have this open system for all these people, but he is pushing for the for-profit company, and obviously an IPO would be around that. So if you are looking to invest at some point, I think that's going to happen, and that could be a good one to look at. From a personal standpoint, Google integrates AI in Chrome history amid privacy concerns. So if you use Chrome, Google's integrating their AI into look at history and look at, again, it goes back to the data that people are using and trying to get more and more data into their AI systems. So they're looking at using this in Chrome and others. So obviously a lot of people are upset by this. They are hoping that Google puts something on there so there's an opt-out option, and they're not forcing people into doing that. But as of now, that is what they're doing because they own the browser. They technically own the data if you go back and look at your terms of services. So they're going to be using that to help with Gemini and continuing to train that within it. Former Snap engineer launches Butterflies, a social network where AI and humans coexist. So if you haven't seen this yet, Butterfly is similar to Instagram, but you're integrating AI. So you're having basically a character in there to represent you. And you're using the same, similar to Instagram at that point. So they've raised $4.8 million in a seed round in November. And AI and humans interact. The app looks like Instagram, but once signed up, users create AI character, which he's calling a butterfly, with opinions and emotions, creating posts that other AIs and humans can interact with. So we see a lot of different systems, coming out on Clubhouse here. We've been on the social audio for a while. Now there's a new system coming out called Chatter, which is integrating video along with audio. Obviously, there's a lot more. We just talked about deep fakes and cheap fakes and video and all these things. So this is a system where we're combining humans and AI into one. So, and you have the butterfly representing you on the system. Is that something that people on Clubhouse would use? Do you think that is a good thing to have this where you can put things out there more? Some people don't like to put themselves out in photos, certainly not video. But this will allow you to come up with this AI character to be able to do that. Is that something that you would use or not use? So you can, again, if you want to unmic, please do, or if you can just put it in the chat if you want to.
I'm confused. Sorry.
Sure.
So it's an avatar of you.
It's a butterfly, but yes, it's an avatar. Yes.
Oh.
He's calling it butterfly.
A butterfly.
Yes.
Okay. Of you.
Yes.
And
So you create this avatar, you create the butterfly of you, and it's using AI as well in the system. So it can interact. You can interact as a human, or you can use more of the AI to interact with that. So he's kind of
Okay, okay.
combining the best of two worlds.
Could somebody say, hey, like to the butterfly, um, you could use it as proof you're a real person by reacting to something so that you would know you weren't a deep fake in
You
real
could do
time?
that, but yeah, I mean the way the system's set up, there is somebody, there has to be somebody behind it, so you do know there's a person there. But yeah, I mean you could certainly have a conversation, but it would be as we go on, it'd be tougher to do because if you say, I'll do this, AI can do a lot of those things now. So
Mm.
unless you say, hey, hold up a newspaper and take a picture and send it to me.
Like we're in a hostage
Like we're in a
situation.
hostage situation. Yes, exactly. Short of that, it's going to get harder and harder to be able
Yeah.
to do that and look at these, systems from that standpoint.
Okay, as a layman, thank you for explaining that a little
Yes,
bit better. Yeah, I appreciate it.
sure. So it'll be interesting to see how that does. Like I said, there's lots of companies raising lots of money. Another is GenSpark, which is the latest. I talked a lot about the search game and how AI is going to change that, and how Google is trying to quickly react with Gemini and others within there. But GenSpark is an AI-powered search engine that says it's better than Perplexity. So Perplexity is also one of the big competitors for Google in the search game right now, Arc Search and Google. And has managed to raise $60 million in funding, valuing the company at $250 million, despite having made no revenue. Which again, I mean, you look back at Amazon, other companies as they were coming up, they made no revenue. Obviously, that worked out. So, and when Google started and they were in the search game, they weren't making revenue as well. So, I think that saying they haven't made any revenue is not a big deal, as much as looking at it and saying, can a company actually compete in the search game, be able to integrate themselves into people's systems, their phones, everything else, as much as Google has. There's no question that AI is going to change the search game, and Google has made some steps towards improving that and has made some steps towards messing that up where people don't trust them. So I think there's a window where Perplexity or GenSpark or some of these other companies could capitalize on that and become something that people go to for search. But trying to find that audience and trying to get people to know who you are and trust you, that's a whole different battle. So it'll be interesting to see if people can do that and what that would look like as they go through here. So a couple of new tools. Again, I'm talking each week about some of the smaller, more specific tools as opposed to against the large language models. Zeta Labs is building an autonomous agents capable of performing browser-based tasks efficiently. So we talked a lot about agents in the past here. An agent is something that, instead of just a one-on-one prompt with a large language model where you ask it to, ask it a question, ask it to do something, and it comes back. An agent is taking multiple steps through a task. So you can say, I want to update my calendar and send out these emails and do this. It can go through that whole task and do multiple steps within that one prompt. So that the agents is really kind of where a lot of these systems are looking and kind of moving towards. So Zeta Labs has created browser-based agents that you can use and be able to start using these agents and using them to help you with tasks across the board. Another one was Human Native, and this is a platform to control and compensate creative works used to train AI. So I talk a lot about these AI systems and how they have to get more information to be able to train these systems. And there's lawsuits right now. I just saw a couple more this week of possible lawsuits that could come up. So Human Native has created this. So if you have any kind of catalog or you have information that you want to allow to be, AI to be able to train on it, this will allow you not only control what they use and don't use, but also get compensated for that because these companies, they do need this information. I talk all about OpenAI and all the different deals they're cutting with companies and media companies to be able to do this and go through all this stuff. So they have to look at that from that standpoint. And then lastly is Spiral. Automate 80% of repeat writing, thinking, and creative tasks, your voice and style included. So this is a system that, again, can use AI to learn your voice and your style, the way that you create things, and be able to write about 80% of the things that you do. So if if you do a podcast, if you have, articles or blogs or things that you're writing, if you put, get together call notes from calls or meeting notes, all those things. So you want to put all those together, project proposals, or any of those things you can think of, posting to social media. Spiral can help you to do that, but it also at first will learn how you do those things. So I talk all the time about using the large language models and what you can do there as far as taking it to give you a good head start. But don't just take that and post it on there, because it's not going to be your voice and your style, where something like Spiral is getting more specific to doing that and be able to do it. So it will save you a lot of time because it will be in the way you want it to be. So it'll take a lot less time for you to review it and be able to update it and use it in your everyday. So if you are a creative person, if you are creating content and doing those things, definitely one of the good ones to look out there. So I also have on the top of my screen, if you're in Clubhouse or follow me, it's posted in the systems. I talked about the article from Andrew Chen, how AI will reinvent marketing. So I put some bullet points there. Also added some really good prompts there. So if you're looking to do like Facebook ad copy or something else, I have a really good prompt in for that. Or if you're looking to do SEO strategy, a simple prompt of just going, analyze the SEO strategy of our competitors and how we can outrank them. So these are some really good ways to start using the large language models to look at it from a sales and marketing standpoint. And I have a link to the article. He talks a lot about how it's going to merge the world of sales and marketing. Eventually are going to become one because of AI. I don't agree with everything, but it's a really good article. Great information on there. So please take a look at that. Also have a link to all my creator tools as well as the full AI database on there. So I have about a minute left here. So if anybody has any questions on Clubhouse, I will open it up to that, and please let me know.
Matt, I had a question about Butterfly social media. Is
Sure.
that something that's available for use for us now?
Yes, it is. Yep. Yeah, it's Tuesday is going to launch on both iOS and Android. So it's been in beta for about 5 months now.
Cool.
And it is launching. Tomorrow will be available on both systems.
Awesome. I'll check it out. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Let me know what you think.
So, Matt, have you heard about Cantina?
I've heard about it. I haven't looked into it at all yet. Have you? What do you think of it?
Well, I think it's pretty cool. It's also the same thing. I put a link in the chat if anybody wants to check it out. But it's basically the same thing. It's like doing the AI bots with you, and it's just, I think it's just a whole new space because, one, I think the introverts of the world, I'm gonna leave aside the nefarious things because I'm sure people use it for that as well, because I'm not naive to that.
Right.
But I really feel that it will encourage more people to connect, right?
Yeah.
And if I am one of those introverts that, I need a wing person to like connect with people.
Yep.
This is your wing person, right? Like, so I just think for connection and communication, it's going to empower people to step up a little bit in those spaces where before they wouldn't have been as able to do. So,
yeah, no, it's a great point. Yeah. So, I just bought Butterflies up one because it's like I said, it's coming out beta this week and had to raise the money. So I always let people know about that to do that. But yeah, and I think there's some other ones out there too, like Cantina and some others that are using similar. And I think there is a place for that. There's anybody could do, YouTube channels and put video out there and do all those things, but there's a reason they don't. A lot of people just aren't comfortable with that, being comfortable on camera and all those. So I think this is, yes, a good way we can use this. And as you said, people like everything out there, people can find nefarious ways to use it. But I think going into this, at least there is more of an avatar on these, and you kind of know going into it more wide open than in the past. People would put Facebook profiles that were fake and use fake pictures and everything, and catfish people that way. So I think because of these systems the way they're designed, there's probably less of a chance for catfishing. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. My friend Dora Maria is up now. So, Dora Maria, how are you? How is your Monday going so far out there on the West Coast? Bright and early?
Oh, it is going because I've been living the East Coast life this weekend, and it is catching up with me. I'm like, oh my Lord, am I awake? Sort of. And so, yeah, I'm back to getting used